if it had happened this way. No, they didn't say that. They said we just thought that this was a cool alternative, but we liked the other one more. It's just they just wanted that cool one, and that's what they wanted to test it out. But basically, what originally happened is the Spartans were kids who were kidnapped at the age of 4 or 5 because of their a combination of genetic, being good candidates genetically for the program, and personality that Dr. Halsey actually went and met with each one of them. They were kidnapped.
Guys, taking her over here.
Yeah, they were kidnapped, replaced with clones that, because the clones were flash clones, they died within months of sickness. The kids were then trained as in the military until they were 14, when they were augmented, had ceramic plates put on their bones, bone density increased, basically were turned into super soldiers. No. They're called the Spartan 2s because the Spartan 1s were originally the original Spartans, like the 300 and whatnot. They just called them the Spartan 2s. The second generation, there was originally 100 or so. 75 made it into the augmentation process. About half of them died from the augmentation process, and an additional 12 were basically disabled because of the augmentations not taking properly. So even though they were still freaking geniuses because of their training and getting basically college-level education,
they were wheelchair-bound, just like...
But some of those ones went on to serve in research and development for one of them actually has to develop better Jawa engines, which are the ones that they use to teleport through slip space. Basically, they did all that kind of. They became eggheads. The others were supposed to. Originally, the Spartans were designed to fight insurrectionists because you had Earth and the inner colonies were the ones in charge, and the outer colonies were insurrectionists that were trying to break away from the United Planets or whatever. So that's what originally was. Basically, that's initially what the Spartans were for. Around the time of them finishing their training, they started doing live ops against the insurrectionists and whatnot. Covenant started showing up, leveled freaking Harvest. So Halsey is actually taking them to the planet where she developed the modular armor. It was so heavy and so powerful that a normal human would literally have the armor would crush them inside of the suit because it's that heavy. But the Spartans could handle it. That's when they got the armor, they got training for 30 minutes, and then the Covenant showed up and attacked them. That was the first time they got attacked by the Covenant. Master Chief, John 117, and his two best friends, because they were paired off in the squads the first day. His two best friends, Kelly was the fastest, and Sam, who was the strongest, go onto the Covenant ship to blow the reactor so that they can get out. Sam dies on the ship because his armor gets blasted by plasma plating, by a plasma pistol charge, and it basically broke the seal, so he would die in the void, so he had to stay. Quite sad, Alex.
He died in the void?
No, he died on the ship. He got blown up. But
oh, so he chose to stay on the ship.
He had no choice. His armor wasn't sealed because you have to have a fully sealed suit to go into outer space, otherwise you die. His plasma blast exposed and broke the seal, blasted a huge chunk, burned a chunk of his armor off, so he couldn't move. So that starts the whole campaign against the Spartans against the
Covenant.
Covenant, yeah, and they still fought the insurrectionists too. Blue team was actually Master Chief's team. Usually consisted of him, Kelly, Linda, who is his the Spartans didn't really have like dating, but if
If they did, it would be his girlfriend.
yes, she was a master sniper. At one point, she actually freaking is hanging upside down from a bridge. The only thing holding her is a cable wrapped around her leg, and she waits there for 3 hours to hit a elite flying after Master Chief in a Banshee. She one-shots the dude. She is a beast. And she's a redhead.
Whoa.
But, so...
Sorry.
His team usually consisted of Kelly, Linda, Fred, which was his second in command. He was the best special, like, hand-to-hand combatant. There's a couple other important ones, but those are the big three. Kelly, Linda, and Fred. Anyway, what happens is, on Reach, there's a fight on a different planet, and Captain Keyes is actually captain of a dreadnought at this point, and he was actually the one. No, Keyes, the guy from Halo 1, the captain of the ship. He was the one who worked with Dr. Halsey to, like, pick the recruits, the Spartans when they were kids. He was the one who kind of was her escort. At this point, he's become captain of a dreadnought. In a space combat situation,
What is it you
he actually like does some ridiculous shit. He was like a genius when it came to naval combat in the books. He actually almost sacrifices his dreadnought to take out like one of the higher class Covenant ships, but he makes it away. They make it out of it because they're evacuating the planet. Once the Covenant have found the planet, they're going to destroy it. It's going to be turned to glass. They're going to bombard it with plasma from orbit and turn it into glass because they don't like us. So we basically have to evacuate the planet. This was also the first time the Spartans encountered the Hunters. But the Covenant managed to get a tracker onto frickin' Keyes' dreadnought. He gets to Reach, which is basically the number 2 planet. It is the military outpost. It is like the head base of the human military. At the same time, this is when Master Chief gets Cortana and gets the upgraded Mjolnir armor that has the better shielding. He actually takes a fucking missile from a jet fighter to Mjolnir, yeah. Well, it depends on...
Wait, is that the Spartan Mark II? Or is that still part of the Series 1?
This is the Spartan 2 program, Master Chief and his buddies.
No, the armor, is it Spartan Mark II, or is it still part of the 1 series?
That's probably Mark II. Yeah, it's the armor he wears in Halo, the original Halo.
So yeah, Mark II armor.
He gets that, and all the Spartans, except for one squad of like 4, have been recalled to Reach. They're going to take a ridiculously old ship that has been reinforced, the Pillars of Autumn, and they're going to try to kidnap a prophet. Cortana was specifically designed to be Master Chief's AI. She was actually, how AIs are done is they are made from the brain of a human. An AI is made from the brain of a human, smart AI are. Cortana was actually made from, basically the smartest person in existence right now is Dr. Halsey, the mother figure for the Spartans. She cloned herself like 200 times and used the brains to try to make AI. She makes 2. Cortana, who chooses Master Chief as her person, and then another one who works for Dr. Halsey. So Spartans now have their Mark II armor. They're getting ready to go on the Pillar of Autumn to go fight against the Covenant and kidnap a prophet. The Covenant invade Reach. Most of the Spartans have to go downside to defend the batteries for the orbital cannon. Most of them die in the glassing of Reach. Master Chief and 2 others Linda with him. Linda and another one, he had a Indian name. Indian dot, not feather. Go to one of the orbital platforms with a cannon that's being attacked by the Covenant because the navigation data on a Pelican is still on that place. They've lost it and they have to go delete the information, otherwise the Covenant will find theirs. What's his face, the Indian guy, his jetpack gets shot, he goes flying off in outer space, he's dead. On the ship they get the data, but Linda gets shot. Oh
no, I'm going up into space!
Linda gets killed. Master Chief takes her body back and cryogenically freezes her next to him. He makes it back to the Pillar of Autumn, and they have to flee. Reach is lost. So now, basically all of his friends that he's known since he was 5, his brothers and sisters in arms, and the only people he's close to he believes are dead. The girl he has feelings for is dead in the cryotube next, but they can probably save her if they get recovered, and then protocol.
If they get back to Earth.
If you're fleeing, it doesn't have to be Earth. It has to be a civilization, though. When fleeing from the Covenant, you have to make a random jump to make sure you're not trapped. So they jump to a random set of coordinates on the Pillar of Autumn, and then that fucking reach.
They go where?
No. They leave Reach, they do a random jump, and that's how they get to Halo. That's the series. In between Halo 1 and Halo 2, Master Chief finds a Pelican floating in outer space, which has some people on it. He finds Linda's cryopod, which is floating in outer space, saves her cryopod, and then he actually that's where he saves Sergeant Johnson and a couple other people. They board a Covenant ship, steal the Covenant ship, go back to Reach. Dr. Halsey and a few surviving Spartans, including Kelly and Fred, have found the only safe spot of Reach, the only part that's not glassed, one mountain. They found a Forerunner relic, which actually warps how time works in the universe. So even though it's been like almost a month for Master Chief, it's been less than a week for the people on Reach. So he saves them right as they're leaving. Kelly gets blasted to fuck by a bunch of freaking hunters, who then, because the hunters didn't want, or the Forerunner and the Covenant didn't want the relic being destroyed, and she didn't want the relic, the hunters who blasted her got freaking decimated. They get back to the ship. Halsey saves Kelly and Linda, and then they go to actually an insurrectionist base that still exists, that was the first one that John, Kelly, and Sam attack, get aid from them, get them blown up by the Covenant, because they're relic.
2 birds, 1 stone!
They didn't intentionally get them blown up, it's the Covenant attack the relic. Most of the insurrection. Yes. Yeah. The Covenant, most of the insurrectionists stopped. Some of them, like this one, was hiding inside of this base, was hiding inside of an asteroid in an asteroid field. They just said, "Fuck it, we're just gonna hide here."
Yeah, they're like, "Yep, we're sticking to our guns."
No, we're just gonna stay there. But Dr. Halsey kidnaps Kelly to go to Onyx, which is where the Spartan 3s are, and actually ends up after while this happens, Master Chief blows up a Covenant city with the help of a couple other Spartans who survive. Some of them die.
Obviously they die. There's the whole series is riddled with death.
Not all of them, and actually technically Spartans don't die. Anytime a Spartan dies, they are publicly announced as wounded or missing in action.